Hey everybody, round 22 didn't have any big surprises. We had though one upset, and that's Baskonia winning in Serbia against Crvena Zvezda. Of course, the usual suspects with Moneke having a great game, but also Howard scoring 7 out of 10 three-pointers. He was on fire with 32 points, and they did a big win in their 91-90. Ivanovic getting back to his previous team. So he was coaching, if you remember, at the start of the year, Cervena Zvezda. Now he went there to upset them. But apart from that, all of the other games, I would say the favorites won. I think the highlight was Olympiacos coming back to wins after the losses in the double week and having Milutinov with a historic performance, 20 points and 20 rebounds. And it wasn't that he was playing alone, he was playing against Nibo, so a very amazing achievement. However, on Monday, on the Greek derby, he got injured and he's going to be out for a month. So Olympiacos is missing both of his bigs, with Fall also having issue with his knee, and everything else pretty much was smooth. Again, Fener wasn't able to achieve a good result out of Istanbul, and they actually had a bad game, and they lost 98 to 75.
But
And
it was.
Monaco,
Let me add, Bill, this point for this game. I was watching the game, and at the beginning, Fenerbahce seemed like a team without a plan on the court, and Zalgiris, they were playing so good. So this result is more of a convincing win for Zalgiris, um, rather than how Fenerbahce played. But I agree with you; they need to start winning away games if they have big expectations for this year.
yeah, very good point. Trinchieri has managed to bring together the group in Zalgiris and have the players believing more in themselves. So we see if that continues and if they get more big wins. Um, they are actually pacing the last hopes they have for the playoffs. And then another amazing game from Mike James. As we said many times, he's MVP this year. He's number one. He's, in my opinion, he's a top contender for getting the trophy, the MVP trophy. He had 15 points, 12 assists, 5 steals, and 6 rebounds. He did everything. So Lloyd was also back on a good form. Real couldn't do anything for Monaco. Big win there. Um,
Let me add
last,
about
yep.
this. I believe Mike James needed that game. And what I mean by that, if you remember the last double week, the last game it was versus Panathinaikos in Athens, in which Mike James didn't have one of his best games. Actually, he ended up with 11 missed shots, so it was not a good game. It was not the classic, the regular Mike James that we know. But this time it was on a big stage versus number one team, Real Madrid. So he wanted to make a statement, I believe, and he did just that with his performance.
Another player that had an amazing game was Dozier in Athens versus Panathinaikos. He has 16 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 steals, and 1 block. But that wasn't enough, and they lost in Athens. And Panathinaikos is a hot team right now. And then finally, 2 other selections, except of Ataman, that we had for coaches last week, they came up victorious. One was Lasso winning the German derby, and then was Chan, that he's doing a great job in FS. If you consider how many injuries he had to cope with. Um, and it's his first time that he's the coach of the team. So he won against Barcelona 98-74. And I wanted to mention uh, a player that is not really highly praised in that team, because we know Larkin, he's also an MVP contender, and he, in my opinion, probably the second or third right now in this race. But plays, he started. He scored the first 8 points of Anadolu Efes. He was dominant on both ends. He ended up with 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks. And he came back from injury earlier, couple of games, I think, this year, and he played. I think it was 53 minutes at his age
That's
versus
true.
Real.
Yeah,
And if you think, yeah, that he had a time that he was out with dealing with his injury and coming back and being the main center and playing that long, he's becoming an important figure in that team. Let's say one of the veteran leaders for FS.
yeah. Because imagine, as you say, let me add these 2 points for FS. Plyce did this 53, played 53 minutes versus Tavares and Poirier, not versus some easy um, players to handle. So it's two of the best big men in Euroleague, and also about Coach Chan. We have to think also that parameter in which is the teams, in order to perform as they want on the court, they first they do it in practice. But if you have injured players, you cannot even do that. So imagine now you're a new coach. You're trying to build your ideas. You're trying to build a team from the beginning. But if you miss key players, for example, Clyburn and Plyce, then you cannot do that. So that's why when everyone is back now, they are coming back. Clyburn is back as well. So once they are all together again, I believe Coach Chan wants to build something very, very attractive. I will call it like this: very attractive basketball with FS.
And also, I have to mention that they have Thompson as a new acquiring this year, so quite new to this group of people. And if you watch FS at the first games, it was not obvious what the roles are. I think that has been improved quite a lot through time. So I think they're definitely on the right track. Um, and of course, we had Bologna back to wins, as we also expected, and had Banki for our goals as well. And Valencia has won in the last game versus Armani, um, with 84-72, a win that can be very crucial, especially if these two teams are fighting for the same spots. So if we have a look at how the table's looking now, we have Real, of course, first and +4 from the second, so they are very comfortable there. And then we have a fight on the second spot. So you can see Barca, Virtus, and Panathinaikos. And if you see the last 10 games, you can see that Panathinaikos seems to be the most hot team with 8-2 at this moment, and is catching up to the other two. Especially Barcelona has 6-4 and Virtus 7-3. There's going to be a big fight up there. And then we have that middle table with Fener leading. But as we mentioned earlier, they have issue with the away game. And Olympiacos, Monaco, Baskonia, and Maccabi are on this group. But again, if you look at anything from sixth position down to 11 is only one win away, and Fener is also another one on the top. So anything can change really there. And finally, for the play-in fight, we mainly have Partizan and Valencia, but also you have Cervena, Zvezda, Milano, and Bayern, and Efes -2 wins from them. And finally, we have Zalgiris. As we mentioned, they had the big win at home, so they might try to push if they have a very good streak. Let's say they may catch up, but of course, it's more difficult for them. And as I have underlined here, all of these teams that they're fighting with the play-in, they do have problem with their away games. So any away win they get is actually gold, as they mainly, winning at home. So with this, we can go to the round
Round
23.
23. Yeah, so round 23, as you see also the standings on the right hand side, you see the first game, the opening game of round 23, Fenerbahce versus Virtus Bologna. It has, a unique matter for the top standings. Um, if Virtus wins, then they can keep up to be on the top three spots. But Fenerbahce, again, at home, they're a strong team, so they will try to win in order to climb on the standings. Um, Also, we have the game Basconia versus Valencia. So it's the game, the number 8 seed versus number 10 seed. So they fight for the play-in tournament. So I expect a very exciting game. It's I can call it the Spanish derby, even if it's not a derby. It's a team that knows each other very well. They're both from Spain, so I expect an exciting game from both sides. Um, so also we have Real Madrid versus Olympiacos, but as Bill said, Olympiacos without Mustafa Fall and now without Milutinov, it will be tough even for Real Madrid without Tavares. They will have Poirier, but it will be a tough game for Olympiacos. Again, it's both teams are classic teams, so I expect they will give us another great game as they did also in the past. So for the coach selections, one of the coaches that we recommend is Chus Mateo from Real Madrid. So Real Madrid at home, they are 10-0. They are undefeated, so they will look into getting this 11th W at home. The other coach we recommend is Pablo Lasso from Bayern Munich. They're playing versus Asvel. Well, on the papers, it should be an easy game for Bayern. Not because Asvel do not have the quality as a team, but this year it's just not the year for Asvel. Is also Nando De Colo is injured, so still we don't know his status if he's back or not. He did not play in the French league, so Bayern. Also, Francisco from Bayern is in a good rhythm right now, so we expect Bayern to get a W. And lastly, we have coach Zeljko Bradovic from Partizan. Partizan is playing at home versus Zalgiris. They will look to get the W, and as Bill said, for the standings, they just need to get into the 10th spot for the play-in tournament. Um, so every win matters for all teams, but especially for these teams that they fight for the play-in tournament. And we believe Partizan also with the crowd to back the team, they will get the W at home versus Algiers.
Great. And I don't remember when is the next double round week, but if you think about it, anyone from 11th up, if they win both games on the round double week, they can find themselves even uh, above the plane, like
Mhm.
even the sixth position. So it's still, the 5 to 11 position is still quite open. Yeah, really
It's
competitive.
it's really competitive and it's still open. Everything is open. Even after 22 games played, you see how fluid everything is. Except okay, Real Madrid is ahead of all the other teams, but all the other positions are open for the playing tournament for the second spot. So this shows how competitive Euroleague is. this year.
Yeah, every game matters, and with this, we getting into our teams. We had a good week last time around on round 22, and that's mainly because we brought in Milutinov, especially for that game versus Maccabi, and he delivered. We explained, we mentioned earlier, 20 points, 20 rebounds, a historic game for him, 80 points, and that is enough really to get you a big start. We have Mitoglu and James as well, Francisco and Fanka doing good games, and even our bench was very decent with Marinkovic and Wetzel doing double fingers. And of course, we have Banky. Timan wasn't really impressive. So, as you understand, getting into round 23, we had to actually get rid of Milutinov as he is injured and be off for a month. So in his position, we're bringing in Oturu. Oturu, he is coming from a very good game versus Barcelona. We had 16 points and 6 rebounds, and he played 22 minutes. As you can see, his minutes really vary on his form, but usually he's having more than 20 minutes, and he had some um, good games, especially between 15 and 17, and perhaps also a good game versus Real. Perhaps with that opponent, Monaco, he has the ability to actually get on and have a good game. Then, of course, the other change we did is a same team swap. Sedekerskis is having a little bit poorer form lately. So of course we brought the alpha dog in the team. Monek is here. So he was in our deep value, but now he's in AlleyOopDunks. Hopefully he is gonna give us perhaps 30. I don't know, but with
Well,
Mike James, yeah.
well, in the first game versus Valencia, he did 29.7. So anything is possible. Anything is possible.
That's a problem. Anything is possible. And after 37.4 with Panathinaikos, he had 7 at Barca. But as you can see, mainly he's like a rocket. And we both agree here that Moneke should be on the first All Euroleague team, at least till now. It seems like he needs to be the one of the two forwards.
Definitely.
Well, and depends also how do you want to classify him, as forward or as a center, is something that I'm not sure is up
Well,
maybe to him or to decide.
fantasy says forward. So
Yeah, he can cover both positions for sure.
but yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Monek is here, and with James, of course, old teammates in Monaco, but one of these two can be our captain for round 2. For now, we have Mitoglu. And also, I didn't mention coach. We have Pablo Lasso because it's a very cheap option, just 5 credits. So with that, we were able to bring some more quality in the team. So that's our main team. The rest of the players stay. Perhaps we'll do some more changes, especially around lower value players in the next round. So good luck to us.
But still, even the fillers can give you a lot of points. For example, Marinkovic had 17 points and gave us 8.5 in the last round, and he was on the bench. But let's see the deep value team here. As you see, also I believe we did well, except the fact that Campazzo didn't give what we expected. But we got 25 points from Coach Chan. So you see how important the coach is, and also Larkin, the captain. If the captain gives you 50, imagine Larkin gave us 50, and Milutinov had 88 in the first team. So if your captain can give you these crazy numbers in fantasy points, then the rest can contribute, and then you can have 150 or more fantasy points. Um, Other than that, you see Wilbekin steady 23 fantasy points. But let's see what changes we made for round 23. So the first change we made for coach is we brought coach Zeljko Bradovic instead of Chan. Um, and then um, we didn't want to keep, of course, we couldn't keep Monake because we have the rule we cannot have the same players in both teams. So instead of Monake, we brought in Giedraitis, who is in a crazy form in the last 4 games. Um, if you see, he has not 4. I'm sorry,
Hi.
5. So you see, after the game versus Fenerbahce, the minimum is 17 fantasy points they gave us. That he has, sorry, in games versus as well and versus Basconia. All the others are more than 20. So he is in a really good form, and also with less credit, he gets the playing time for sure from coach Sferopoulos. So in this move, we saved some credits. Giedraitis is cheaper than Monake. Um, so we spend more. We brought in Dozier instead of Luva Vukabaro. Dozier with an amazing game in Athens, as Bill said, and also versus Maccabi at home with a huge comeback that Partizan made. And in the first game, he had 29. This 29.7 is like the number of the episode. I think that will be the title, 29.7, just
Yeah,
that.
that was
Um,
more naked. But
yeah, and also Giedraitis had 29.7 one game. Um, I don't remember versus who now. Um, so we brought in Dozier, and then instead of Kumaji, we wanted another sender. So we went with Devin Booker versus as well. Devin Booker versus as well in the first game, it was, I think, his best game so far this year with 24.2 fantasy points. But even if he does not give us this, he is one of the stable senders to give you between 8 and 12 fantasy points. All the other players are the same. Wilbekin, Larkin are there. Larkin can be the captain in the second round. We kept Campazzo, so we don't know if he will bounce back after the game. I believe he cannot have 3 fantasy points again this low. And all the other players, yes, if you see, just 3
is
versus Monaco. So
is that his last chance for redemption?
I believe so. I believe so. Um, and yeah, because I mean, cannot go lower, honestly. Um, and all the other players, as you see, Snyder, Giedraitis, and Diaz are the fillers for this team. Um, so I think you see also this is a stacked team with 7 good players overall, if you include Larkin and Dozier. Anything to add, Bill, about the this team?
I- I'm just waiting on Campazzo because I have him on my on our draft league, and he is not performing. So I was earlier out in the market for trades. I want him to play well.
To be honest, you made an offer to me, but I never replied to the offer yet. But I
Yeah.
know the others replied already.
All right. Anyways,
But
guys,
we'll see.
so I hope you enjoy as well this upcoming round and our episode, and see you at the next one.
Yeah, guys. See you next time and enjoy the games. Every game matters. See you next time.